what we were hoping was a resource that would engage parents in their child's education, start them off, get them involved early on so that we kind of set a nice pattern of parent involvement that will continue as the child grows. Something that helps teachers support the homeschool connection with everything that they're responsible for. Simple ways that they can communicate with parents and reinforce what they're offering, what's happening in the classroom through parents is important if it's easy to get to and easy to send home. That encourages use of technology, and that's a piece of this program, but it's not a computer program. It's a hands-on program that has technology resources. And that reaches families in their home language. And everything that you'll see in virtual pre-K is in English and in Spanish. And we've been had several inquiries for other languages and are exploring that possibility. Our funding has shrunk in recent years, so those are kind of on the back burner for a little bit, but our hope is to continue to expand it to other languages. So again, boiling back down to this idea that this isn't a computer program, that it isn't about spending a lot of time in front of a television or a computer screen, that it's very hands-on, and these are examples of some sock puppets that the children made at home and brought back to school to share. Again, using household materials, recycled materials, and really a hands-on activity that is promoted through the virtual pre-K resource, but then is realized by the parents live and at the home. So the development of virtual pre-K started. We teamed together some of our super creative early childhood teachers from around Chicago public schools, and I was meeting with them at the end of the long days in the classroom, where we would be in a small conference room, and just letting them talk about what they're doing with early childhood parent involvement, how they're reaching their families, and how we could translate that into a resource that would serve a broader community. That it focuses on empowering parents and really supporting them in their role as teachers, their child's first teacher. That it encourages learning in the home language. Again, Spanish is our largest second language in Chicago, so that's where we started. That is low tech and high tech. So we have the resource on DVD. It was originally on videotape, but now that's like ancient history, which I can't believe. So now we've moved to DVD and CD-ROM, but then it's also in printed materials. And in the packet that you got for the family tree, you have a sample of the printed materials that also describe the activity and how to do it. So that you don't have to have a computer and you don't have to have a DVD player and a TV in order to do this activity. You can access it from in different ways. That it's standards-based and it connects in with what we're trying to promote in Illinois for our standards for early childhood for 3 to 5-year-olds. And then it was evolving and flexible so that teachers and parents could use it in a way that fit with what they were doing. It wasn't sort of a program and a set path that you had to take for this resource. Our program mission to improve school readiness for 3 to 5-year-olds, and an emphasis on early literacy, to help transform that parent-child school interaction, enhance what's happening in the classroom through their curriculum, to increase computer literacy, and to promote those experiences that are helping to develop that the whole child. And what we created was kind of an exchange. We tried to connect the classroom with the home and helped parents really see that the learning that happens in the classroom really applies outside of the classroom, and experiences outside of the classroom enrich what happens in the classroom. So connecting the classroom to the home, taking advantage of the community resources, and you saw in the video going to the zoo and talking about families at the zoo. And then using the internet and computers as a way to extend resources and extend learning, but again, not having to have that computer in order to make it happen. It's just a tool that can help complete the circle. So we developed this blue kit, and in the kit there are 20 themes. Each theme has a lesson plan that goes along with it, and the lesson plan is available in a printed manual. Again, our teachers really love the hands-on piece. So even though everything in this manual is available online, most of our teachers still want it printed out so that they can refer to it very easily. There are lesson plans that go along with each lesson for the classroom, for that classroom piece. And then home activity cards, and you have a sample in the packet that you picked up of the family tree. So that was one of the home activity cards for this theme. And the teacher has a black line master of it that she can reproduce and mail home. There are recommended field trips, and the zoo was the recommended field trip for that theme. We really focused on what was really readily accessible in the community. So sometimes we went to the grocery store, sometimes we went to the library, sometimes we went to the zoo, but we tried to focus on community resources that are free or very low cost and appropriate for preschool. And so then there's the video modeling of these activities, and we saw these series of activities being modeled in that video clip. And each one of the themes has a similar video clip for about 3 to 5 minutes that presents, here's a theme in the classroom, here's how a parent can extend this at home, and here's where you can go in the community to take this theme even further. So each one of the 20 themes has a video clip like the one you saw at the beginning of the session. And again, it's offered on videotape, slowly becoming extinct, but we still have, at least in Chicago, many of our schools still have PCs and VCRs, so we're often asked for the videotapes, not for the homes, but for the schools. Have it on DVD and on CD-ROM, and then a website of the supporting resources, including this entire teacher's manual, which is navigable online and printable from the internet for teachers who want to access it in that way. So I want to take you through that theme that we saw, my family, and in the few minutes before we started, I worked on my family tree. This is me. It was a better hair day than today, I think. My husband, Aaron, and I have a little boy. His name is Santiago. He's 2 1/2. And now I'm really practicing what I preach. I've been working in early childhood now for several years, but now that I have a budding preschooler, I'm really starting to acknowledge and understand in new ways what it means to be a parent of a young child. And I gave him red hair because, surprisingly enough, even though my husband and I both have brown hair, he came out as a redhead. And I'm Puerto Rican, my husband's Mexican, and I swear he's the father. And